Godayan. Hey everyone, it's Eric, and it's time for the Icelandic thing of the day. So I thought today we would talk about clocks and time. So just as we say 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, we reference time in terms of clocks, Icelandic does the same thing, where if you want to know what time it is, you say hvað er klukkan. Literally, what is the clock? What does the clock say? Or if you were stopping someone in the middle of the street and trying to find out what time it is, you might say, Fyr getur það sagt mér hvað klukkan er? Excuse me, could you tell me what time it is? Obviously, in order to tell time, you have to know Icelandic numbers, and as I mentioned before, Icelandic numbers are strange in that numbers 1 through 4 get conjugated, and anything above that doesn't, and then that repeats itself every time those numbers actually show up at the end of a number. So 1 gets conjugated, and so does 21, and so does 51, and so does 1001. But anything that ends in 7 is just sjö. There is no conjugation there. So that changes the way that numbers get counted, and that also works when it goes according to time. So if you just want to say that it is noon, you can say klukkan er 12, which means the clock is 12, and that's pretty easy. 12 doesn't decline. If you wanted to say that's a quarter after 1, you could say klukkan er korter yfir 8. 8. There's pre-aspiration there, and voicelessness and things. So what that literally means is that it's a quarter over 1. 1 there is conjugated as conjugated in the neuter, because that's how you express the hours. So eighth, as opposed to the masculine or the feminine form. And then quarter, you can hear that it is the same as quarter. So we say it's a quarter past 1, quarter yfir 8. Now, if you want to say that it's 2:30, then you actually say that it is half 3, which apparently is also the way that they say it in England. So klukkan er half 3. And so those are, so that's 2:30, half 3. And same thing if you wanted to say that it was, that it is, say, 2:45. You'd say klukkan er korter I 3. It's a quarter until 3. So, and quarter till 3, we say that in English too. So that's those are the basics. Now, one interesting thing is that if you want to say a specific minute, if you don't want to use one of these stock phrases like quarter to or half, then you have to use then things get a little strange and complicated. So, for example, if you wanted to say that it is 7:23, then you would say it is 22 og 3 minutur yfir sjö, which literally means it's 20 and 3 minutes over 7. So 23 past 7. Some interesting things about that are the 22 og 3 minutur. That's feminine because minute is feminine in Icelandic. Whereas sjö is odd because it doesn't conjugate because it's 7. But if it were past 1, then we would say yfir 8, which is neuter. So you go from feminine number of minutes to a neuter number of hours, and that's just how it goes. Things change on the half hour. So if you wanted to say that if you wanted to say that a time was, if the time is after the half hour, then you express it in terms of the coming hour. So instead of saying that it is 2:37, you would say that it is 23 minutes to 3. If you want to say around, or it's a little past, it's a little before, you can say taiplega, which is slightly less than, and roomlega, which is slightly greater than. So if it's like 2:03, you could say klukan roomlega 2. It's a little past 2. And if it's 2:57, say, you could say klukan taiplega 3. It's a little before 3. So those are. A lot of this is interesting because this is such day-to-day stuff, and yet the phrasing of it is different. And so you can see where expressing time in Icelandic can lead to, just based on the different ways that things are expressed and mentioned and talked about, you can get totally different perceptions of what time means. If someone says that it's 2:30, then I think 3:30, but it actually means 2:30. And then there's the whole expressing things in relationship to the closest hour. So things change at 31, so that now instead of saying that you're 31 minutes after the hour, you immediately switch to 29 minutes to the hour, which I guess we do that to some degree in English as well, but I find the whole differences there fascinating. Jon Simon, who is the instructor, who of course many of these examples come directly from his lectures and from the work that he's done with us. Jon Simon says that he, even though he speaks Icelandic with the proficiency of a native speaker, and lived in Iceland for I think like a decade, he still has trouble occasionally showing up on time, just because the different ways that time is talked about and the different expressions that speakers have for how time works. So, all right, so that is today's little lecture on time and clocks in Icelandic. I'll see you all tomorrow. Today is Tuesday afternoon, so we've this time on Friday, I will be getting on the plane to go to Iceland, and that's very exciting. I don't know what else to say. I'll talk to you all tomorrow. Love you all. Bye.